When the Model 2 finally arrives, it will feel like Tesla has hit the reset button on the electric car market. The promise is bold: an affordable, compact, all-electric vehicle for around $25,000. Sounds too good to be true, right? But it's not just an internet rumor. Reliable inside sources have already given clear signs that the project is in the final stages. Expectations are high, because this car could be the first Tesla for many people. People who dream of an electric car, but have never had access to current models because of the price. And that's where Elon Musk plays the most strategic card on the table. If everything goes as planned, the Model 2 will open a door that has been closed for a long time. Until now, Teslas have always carried an air of futuristic luxury, almost unattainable for most. But now, this new model should break that barrier and democratize access to electric mobility. Musk has already let it slip in several interviews that his mission is not just to make cool cars, it is to transform global transportation. And it is with the Model 2 that he will be able to truly achieve this goal. Just imagine a smart electric car with the Tesla seal driving on the streets for a price lower than that of many combustion cars. The arrival of this new model should also shake up the global scenario. Today, competition among electric vehicle manufacturers is fiercer than ever, especially with the Chinese coming in hot. Brands like BYD and NIO are not messing around and are delivering increasingly sophisticated EVs at incredibly low prices. Tesla will have to show that it is still the leader, and the Model 2 could be the definitive answer. But will a cheap Tesla car still be able to carry that premium look, that something extra that has always made the brand shine? The most interesting thing is that the Model 2, even though it's cheaper, shouldn't be a bare car. Elon Musk seems to be thinking of something that preserves what really matters: the soul of Tesla. The proposal would be to deliver an efficient vehicle with good performance and cutting-edge software, even cutting out some luxuries. No sunroof, leather seats, or premium speakers. But who cares about that when you can have a Tesla for an affordable price, with all the intelligence and connectivity that the brand has built over the years? Another point that draws attention is the timing of the launch. Although there is no official date, the movement inside Tesla's factories has already raised the alarm. Something big is coming. Prototypes have already been seen being tested, and strategic changes in the production line show that the launch may be closer than it seems. It is no exaggeration to say that we are on the verge of a new chapter in the history of electric cars. And perhaps, when the Model 2 is announced, the world will stop for a few minutes just to watch. Choosing a more compact model geared toward urban centers also makes a lot of sense. Traffic is increasingly chaotic in big cities, and parking has become an art. The Model 2 should be smaller than the Model 3, lighter and more agile, perfect for everyday urban life. Young drivers, small families, self-employed professionals — this is the audience that Elon Musk seems to be targeting precisely. And with the reduced weight, the car could also gain in energy efficiency, without needing a gigantic battery to have good autonomy. One of Tesla's smartest moves to make the Model 2 viable will be to reuse parts, structures, and ideas that have already worked. Instead of starting from scratch, the company will use a kind of strategic shortcut, pulling components from the Model 3 and Model Y, which are already mature and optimized. This approach helps to cut development time and costs, in addition to ensuring that the car meets the quality standards that consumers expect. And if there's one thing Elon Musk hates, it's wasting time reinventing something that already works well. Many people might think that this makes the Model 2 a smaller copy of the current models, but that's not quite the case. Tesla should adapt the elements, yes, but with a focus on simplicity and efficiency. Steel wheels instead of alloy wheels, no double glazing or chrome details, basic colors, and a leaner interior — all of this will be part of the strategy to keep costs down. But the most curious thing is that even with these cuts, the car will still look modern and Tesla. Because the secret is not in the frills, but in the well-thought-out package. The company seems to understand that what really enchants is not the luxuries, but the experience. Having a car that is quick to respond, quiet, connected, and intuitive is still a dream for many people. And if the Model 2 delivers on this, even without a sunroof or heated seats, it will be enough to win over a huge audience. After all, who has never been impressed by that central screen controlling everything with a touch? This essence should continue, even if in a slimmer version. Another great advantage of this cost optimization is scale. Mass production, with fewer parts and more standardization, drastically reduces the final cost. Tesla has already proven this with the Giga Press, and with the Model 2, this philosophy must be taken to the extreme. This explains why every detail of the design will be thought of not only in terms of aesthetics, but also in terms of ease of production. The fewer steps, the less chance of error, and the lower the cost per unit. It seems simple, but this production engineering is a true industrial chess game. One detail that may go unnoticed but has a big impact is the choice of a minimalist interior. No dozens of buttons, dials, or manual adjustments. Tesla should continue to focus on centralized control, with an intuitive interface that has already become a trademark. In addition to being cheaper to manufacture, this creates a modern and elegant experience. Sure, it may seem strange to those who like a traditional dashboard, but for the new generation of drivers, it is as if the car spoke the same language as smartphones. Visually, the car should follow the brand's well-known style: clean lines, LED headlights, aerodynamics designed to reduce energy consumption. Even with the simpler look, it will still be easy to recognize that it is a Tesla. And let's face it, the brand's appeal already does half the work. Having the Tesla logo on the front still carries a certain prestige, even on a more affordable model. And this, in itself, will already be a differentiator against Chinese and traditional competitors. With all this simplification and reuse of components, the big question many people ask is, will performance be compromised? The answer seems to be no. The Model 2 should come equipped with a single-wheel drive rear motor, a configuration that has already proven efficient in other Tesla models. It won't take off like a supercar, of course, but it is estimated to go from 0 to 100 km/h in about 7 seconds. Not bad for a compact city car. In fact, for those who drive in the city, this time is more than enough to leave everyone behind at the traffic lights. Top speed should be around 180 km/h, which is more than necessary for any road, especially considering the car's urban focus. But the real charm lies in the smooth acceleration, the lack of gear changes, and that pleasant sensation of floating as the car glides along in silence. The experience behind the wheel of a Tesla has never been just about raw speed, but about control, quick response, and that almost emotional connection with the car. And that, apparently, will be maintained in the Model 2. Now, when it comes to autonomy, that's when people's eyes really light up. The plan is for the Model 2 to have LFP batteries, which are lighter and cheaper. With capacities ranging from 40 to 50 kWh, the expectation is for a range of between 320 and 400 kilometers on a full charge, under ideal conditions. This means that the average driver, the one who drives from home to work and stops at the grocery store, will be able to use the car all week without needing to recharge. And in times of rushing around and lines at charging stations, this is a huge advantage. And there's more. Even with this smaller battery, the car will still be efficient thanks to the weight reduction. Since it's shorter than the Model 3 and up to 30% lighter, the Model 2 will need less energy to move. This helps not only with autonomy, but also with overall performance and energy consumption per kilometer. It's as if Tesla had put the car on a diet, cutting out what it didn't need, but without losing what was essential. And let's face it, in a city car, lightness is everything. Another interesting point is that, since it is not seeking range records, the Model 2 does not need to carry a gigantic battery. This reduces recharging time and makes it easier to use in urban routines. The idea is not to cross the country on a single charge, but to make the perfect car for everyday use. An agile model, cheap to maintain, easy to park, and that does not depend on a superstructure for recharging. And for many people, this combination is simply perfect. Because not everyone wants or needs a 500,000 Riez SUV. And when it comes to batteries, it's impossible not to highlight the star behind the Model 2, LFPs, or lithium iron phosphate batteries. This choice is no coincidence, and not just because of the cost. Tesla is betting on this type of battery because they are safer, last longer, and handle deep charge cycles better. And best of all, they are much cheaper than traditional nickel or cobalt batteries. To give you an idea, the cost per kilowatt-hour of LFP is already below $60 and tends to fall even further. The interesting thing is that these batteries not only make the car cheaper, but they also increase its resilience. They are less flammable, withstand more recharge cycles, and have a more stable structure, which makes all the difference in the long run. This means that the owner of a Model 2 in the future will have fewer headaches with loss of autonomy or rapid degradation of the battery. And in an affordable car, this type of durability becomes one of the biggest advantages. After all, no one wants to replace the battery so soon, right? Furthermore, Tesla will no longer rely exclusively on Chinese suppliers for these batteries. The Nevada plant in the United States is prepared to produce these cells locally. And this is huge, because it eliminates import barriers, avoids tariffs, and increases Tesla's independence in its own territory. This also speeds up production and helps to keep the promise of selling the Model 2 at a truly competitive price. In the world of electric vehicles, controlling the supply chain is almost like mastering the game. Now just imagine a car that costs around $25,000 and has a battery that costs around $3,000. That's almost unbelievable in terms of margin and engineering. Elon Musk has always been obsessed with efficiency, and this is proof. The secret lies in each well-calculated choice: less weight, less complexity, local production, and, of course, the right battery technology. With this, Tesla not only reduces manufacturing costs, but also delivers a car that can handle the rigors of everyday life with ease. Another cool thing is that LFPs also accept fast charging well, which is rare in this segment. They can handle high-voltage charges without significant degradation. This means that, despite being more affordable, the Model 2 won't fall behind when it comes to recharging. At a V4 supercharger, for example, the car is expected to go from 0 to 80% in about 25 minutes. This puts it ahead of many direct competitors, which still struggle with slow recharging speeds and unstable batteries. This is where the Model 2 starts to set itself apart from any other affordable car on the market. It will likely come standard with all the hardware needed for full autonomous driving. Yes, even though it's the cheapest Tesla, it will have the same cameras, sensors, and chips as the more expensive models. This gives you an idea of what Tesla is really planning with this car. It won't just be a means of transportation, it will be a platform, a body on wheels ready to evolve over time, with software upgrades. The thing to note here is that full self-driving, the famous FSD, will not be enabled by default. Buyers will be able to choose whether to unlock this feature by paying around $8,000 or opt for a monthly subscription. It may seem expensive, and it is, but think of it as an investment in the future. Because when the technology is mature, and it will be, this car will be able to drive itself, with the same physical setup installed since the day of purchase. It's like buying a car that's ready for tomorrow, even if today it still needs you at the wheel. The strategy is smart. If FSD were enabled from the factory, the final price of the Model 2 would easily exceed $30,000, which would go against everything Tesla is trying to build. By leaving the decision in the hands of the customer, the company reduces the initial cost, expands the product's reach, and still maintains the possibility of generating additional revenue in the future. And the curious thing is that this business model works. Some people buy the car now and only activate FSD 2 or 3 years from now, when they feel they need it. This gives freedom and flexibility, something rare in the automotive industry. But what's really stirring up the crowd is the real possibility of the Model 2 joining Tesla's robo-taxi network. The idea is simple and revolutionary. You buy the car, activate the FSD, and when you're not using it, let it drive around the city on its own, transporting passengers and generating money for you. It sounds like science fiction, but the infrastructure is already being built. And the Model 2, with its low cost and complete hardware, seems to have been designed with this purpose in mind. It could literally become a passive income machine on wheels. Of course, this is still in the realm of promise. Full, safe FSD for large-scale urban use is still in development. But the fact is, when this technology is ready, the Model 2 will already be ready. And more importantly, thousands, perhaps millions, of these cars will already be on the road, just waiting for a software update. This creates a huge advantage over any competitor, because it's not just selling a car, it's selling a robot on wheels, ready to work for you in the future. Now this is where things start to get even more interesting. Because there's no point in dreaming about a $25,000 electric car if it can't be mass-produced, right? And that's where Tesla's production engineering comes in, which is so advanced it borders on absurdity. The Model 2 won't be assembled in the traditional way, with hundreds of parts joined by hand. The star of the show will be the new Giga Press, a colossal machine that will mold a large part of the car's structure in one go, as if it were printing the vehicle's skeleton with a single punch. This new Giga Press, even more powerful than the one used on the Model Y, will allow the rear end and possibly additional sections of the Model 2 to be cast in single blocks. This dramatically reduces the number of parts, welding points, assembly time, and even human error. Instead of dozens of workers assembling separate parts, a single giant machine can do it all in seconds. The result? Faster, lower costs, and standardized production that even makes repairs easier later. And this efficiency doesn't come out of nowhere. Tesla has already been testing this system with the Model Y, and now it will apply it even more intensively in the Model 2. The idea is to transform this model into the first truly mass-market electric car, something comparable to the Volkswagen Beetle or the Ford Model T. And for this to happen, everything needs to be designed on a gigantic industrial scale, from the foundry to the assembly line, including suppliers and logistics. And the Giga Press is the part that makes all this possible. The most curious thing is that this machine, which looks like something out of a science fiction movie, has a direct role in the customer experience. Because fusing the entire rear of the car into a single block is not just a matter of saving money. It also improves structural strength, drivability, and even safety. A more solid car, with fewer moving parts, tends to suffer less torsion and vibrations. In other words, even though it costs less, the Model 2 could end up being more solid and reliable than many luxury sedans out there. And for those who thought this car would need a new factory, it's worth remembering that Tesla already has the ideal infrastructure for it. The production lines in Fremont and Giga Shanghai will be adapted to accommodate the Model 2, taking advantage of equipment, logistics, and personnel already trained. This reduces the initial investment and speeds up the production start process. In fact, Model 2 prototypes have already been seen driving around the California factory, which leaves many people wondering about an imminent launch. And here we come to one of those delicate points that no one really likes to discuss. But that could make all the difference in the fate of the Model 2: tax incentives. The truth is that for this car to really cost the end consumer use $25,000, the bill depends on government help. More precisely, the famous $7,500 federal credit offered in the United States for electric vehicles. Without this discount, The sticker price would go straight up to somewhere between $32,000 and $35,000. And that's when the charm of the affordable car starts to fade. For now, Tesla is taking advantage of this policy. In fact, in its campaigns, it already presents the value with the credit applied, as if it were an automatic discount. It's a smart move because it changes the customer's immediate perception and increases the car's appeal, especially compared to combustion models in the same range. However, there is a problem with this equation. There is no guarantee that this benefit will last for a long time, and this external factor could become the biggest obstacle to the Model 2's success. Industry analysts warn that with a possible change in government or political priorities, incentives for electric vehicles could simply disappear after 2026. The market has seen this happen before. Incentive programs tend to have an expiration date, and everything will depend on the direction the United States takes in the coming years, especially if there is a political shift. And let's be honest, the relationship between Elon Musk and certain political leaders has been volatile, to say the least. If that credit is indeed cut, Tesla will face a tough choice. It could try to absorb the impact and lower the price on its own. But honestly, with such tight margins, that's almost impossible.